the official card of the NBA.
The Spurs' Denver homegrown product continues to kill the Nuggets. Derek White with 26 at the half. The Spurs close the half on a 21-8 run, and they take a 3-point lead into the locker room in San Antonio in Game 3. Welcome in. It's the American Express halftime report. Carlos Boozer way over there. Channing Frye right there. Grant Hill, I'm Matt Weiner. Good to have you along with us. How about Derek White, Denver area kid? He had 2 great games on the road and a career night so far at home.
Yeah, no, I mean, just continue with his stellar play. 16 points in the first quarter, 26 points at halftime. Pretty remarkable. I mean, what he's done, I mean, just he's attacking, he's aggressive, getting into the paint, playing with a lot of confidence out there.
Oh, that's dangerous. You know, in every series, you need your bench, one person at least to come off your bench and win you a game. Now, this is his game. Lou Will did it for the Clippers, and Derek White's doing it for the Spurs. He's giving them a chance.
Well, the Spurs, you know, in sort of classic San Antonio fashion, moving the ball early in this game as well.
That's what makes them dangerous. They're all so unselfish. If you look down at their assists, you know, DeRozan has 3, LaMarcus has 4. Now, listen, give it to your big gun, get the double team. Now, look at this. Derek White, all he's going to do is cut. Look at this. Just 1-2 dribble, and he does a layup. You know, Denver needs to, first of all, stop that layup. And second of all, give it to your other big gun, get a double team. LaMarcus gets to a spot that he's comfortable, good spacing, and he shoots it. Papa's going to live with these shots. Most people in analytics are going to say no 2s, but they're going to live with this. They're going to get the shots that they want and they need. LaMarcus is unstoppable in the post. Somebody cuts, and he finds the wide open 3s, or he could take the 3, or he could drive it and get himself another layup. This is what makes San Antonio dangerous. They're not going to just settle for long 3s or contested 3s. They're going to attack the rim, score layups, and get their defense set.
Neither team has turned it over very much, but San Antonio has 13 assists and just 3 turnovers here so far. And yet Denver is in this game because of their bench, which came out and started the second quarter with a 16-0 run. 8 of those off the fingertips of Malik Beasley, Booze.
Yeah, playing very well. They do a great job of coming in. I feel like Murray is struggling a little bit, could be a little bit more aggressive, but Beasley's doing a terrific job of finding his spots, getting down in transition, making big shots as well. And at the same time, they're doing a good job of playing poise. Jokic is doing a good job of moving the ball, getting guys involved, being aggressive at times, having a balance of being passive and making the right play. But their bench has been very good, and look for Murray to be more aggressive in the second half.
Yeah, Murray's production is curious. I guess we're just going to wait and see what happens here because the fourth quarter is still coming up, and that's when he got hot the other night. But 1 of 4 is maybe fewer shots than Mike Malone would probably like from Jamal Murray.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even in those first 7 quarters in games 1 and game 2, he still took 30-some-odd shots. He wasn't making them, but he was
31,
still
right?
31 shot, 8 of 31. Obviously got hot there in that fourth quarter. But 1 of 4, yeah, I mean, it's not so much what San Antonio's doing. It just doesn't seem like he's getting into the rhythm and the flow, and they will need him, particularly in the second half. Maybe not quite like he did in that fourth quarter, but they'll need him to be more aggressive and more efficient.
Remember, the Nuggets have lost 13 straight games in San Antonio, but they are in it at the half. It's a 3-point game, third quarter on the way here on NBA TV. And when we come back, we'll check in on the game in Brooklyn. It's been mostly Philly so far. Take a live look when we come back. 76ers got the jump on Brooklyn tonight, 32-24 in the first quarter. And despite playing without Joel Embiid, who is out with that pesky knee injury, they lead with 5 minutes and change to go in the fourth quarter, 116-105. And one of the stories tonight has been Tobias Harris, 6 of 6 from the great beyond.
Woo. You know what? He heard him say he wasn't that good from 3. But tonight he's hitting. So you know what? Good for you, cuz. I'm proud of you. He's been playing hard. He's doing good. He's getting out in transition, like I said he loves. And he's a tough cover man. 6'9", good builds, fast, athletic, runs in the family.
Who's the better shooter in the family?
Oh, stop it. He's a better player. I'm a better shooter.
Oh, okay.
I'll take that.
Okay.
That's a fair split.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's way better than me, but listen, there's very few better shooters.
J.J. Redick got hot in the third quarter. Redick had 16 in the third.
Deep fry.
Ooh.
And what do we make of Philly's dominance tonight without Embiid on the floor?
I just think he's playing great. I think it's not Embiid, but I think Ben Simmons is his team. Grant made the point earlier in the green room. This is his team now without Ben Simmons, without Embiid being out there. He can run the show, get him in transition, post up a little bit, make some moves, and those guys flow all around him. The only one that's kind of struggling is my man Jimmy Buckets, but look to see him do more as the series goes along.
Well, and Simmons is 10 of 11 from the field now. He has 24 points and 7 assists.
Yeah, no, Simmons has been great, and you know, Boo said it best. He's able to sort of take control. It's his team. They can adapt to how he wants to play. Obviously, Cousins playing very well. And, you know, I think defensively, I mean, they're making life sort of very difficult for Brooklyn. Everything's contested. Obviously, LeVert played well, but defensively, how they're swarming, making life difficult for Russell. They're in good shape right now with 5 minutes left.
Greg Monroe got his first start as a Sixer tonight. He's just 3 of 12, but he has a dozen rebounds, and Philly has out-rebounded the Nets by 10 to this point in the game. Third quarter from San Antonio coming back. It's Derek White's night so far, and his Spurs lead his hometown Nuggets by 3.
Here's some breaking news for you. Joel Embiid warmed up earlier and now will not play tonight in Game 3 in Brooklyn against the Nets as that left knee continues to bother him. Meantime, D'Angelo Russell and Brooklyn took the home court advantage in Game 1, trying to maintain it here in Game 3. Sixers and Nets about 10 minutes from now. Spiro Ditas, Greg Anthony, and Roz Gold and Woody have the call. While here in Atlanta Studio J, it's TNT NBA Tip-Off presented by Auto Trader, Ernie Johnson. This is Shaquille O'Neal. You all know who he is. You all know who he is, Kenny Smith. You all know who he is, Charles Barkley. Wow. So no Embiid tonight. What do you make of it?
No Embiid tonight. I guess if you can't play, you can't play. So this means one thing from Mr. Ben Simmons. You got to step it up. You got to play super aggressive. First game, played kind of soft, got into a little spat with the fans. Second game, picked it up. But this game, he's going to have to be super aggressive, a la Giannis. Take it to the hole, try to score. Don't be taking it to the hole every play down, trying to find people. He's going to have to, put up a big, big game tonight for them to have a chance.
Go ahead, Kenneth. Something screams Tobias Harris to me for some reason.
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I think more Tobias Harris. I think because in this instance, he's been the one who has an advantage possibly, and will probably get more opportunities and touches. He's been used to being a second option guy in his career. He had 19 points and he 12 shots. So now I think that increased load will probably go to about 17 shots. Something just screams Tobias Harris to me tonight.
Well, some scream Brooklyn Nets to me.
Okay.
I think they're better. They have better perimeter players. I think they were mad about that smiling at the press conference. I'm glad Jared Dudley said something and the other players said something. The only physical advantage the Sixers have is Joel Embiid. I think Brooklyn gonna win the game.
I agree, Chuck.
You brought up the thing that everybody's been talking about after Game 2, and that is the elbow that Joel Embiid landed to the jaw of Jared Allen, and flagrant 1 was called, and then it was after the game when they met the press that really irked the Nets.
I saw the replay, and obviously it wasn't intentional, and I got him pretty good, and I'm sorry about it, but...
Oh, they are playing the disrespect card, Chuck.
Well, that's disrespectful. Because, Ernie, you can't apologize to me and start laughing. I mean, you just can't. I mean, that's just disrespectful. I mean, they don't even have to play the disrespect card. Because what we always say, Kenny, one of my favorite people is Jim Rome. He always says, right before somebody says, I mean no disrespect.
Oh, that's disrespect.
You know what's coming next? Disrespect.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, but just to, like I say, it was an accident, and we debated was a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2. But when you start laughing like that, that's disrespectful.
I look at it a little different. I mean, take it how you want to take it. I wouldn't apologize for that. Something similar happened to me in the final playing against the Sixers. I fouled out. And, a guy asked me, said, what are you going to do different tomorrow? I said, I'm not doing nothing different tomorrow. If he puts his head in there, I'm going to hit him. He's a defensive player of the year. make them play defense. I'm a little weird because, playoff time, this is time you stepping up for your family, for the city. You're trying to, make your fame, like Kenny always says. So me, you laugh, you laugh.
Yeah, you also had Jared Dudley, who said of Ben Simmons, he's great in transition, but in the half court, just average.
Well, Jared Dudley he's not going to be that voice for the locker room, so to speak. But in terms of the play, it's going to come from D'Angelo Russell. It's going to come from Dinwiddie, and it's going to come from different animals on that team, so to speak. But I understand there has to be a voice in that locker room that speaks up in a situation like that. And for me, I just think now it's all about play. You could talk about it, but can you be about it? Can you actually impose the will that you're saying that you can do? And now that you don't have Embiid, are you still as good as we are? Do you think your perimeter guys can guard us? That's what I would be saying as a Brooklyn Net.
Fans are getting into it as well because
I love that.
This was seen on the streets of Brooklyn.
Brooklyn ain't no joke.
No, this is here.
Have you seen his jumper?
He wore $26 million.
And please contact Kendall Jenner.
That might be
you have information.
Last seen drinking in Orlando. Wow.
High
They
marks.
really put those up?
Those put those signs.
The Nets fans.
Hey, we've got three big-time 1-1 series tonight. Sixers and Nets, Warriors and Clippers here on
Nuggets
TNT.
going to take the lead tonight, aren't
And then you got the Nuggets and the Spurs.
Look at this dude coming in.
Jamal Murray coming in. Not with his own picture like you talked about the other night, but with the Charles Barkley shirt.
Hey, the Nuggets are going to win tonight. I'm telling you, the Nuggets are going to win tonight. I guarantee it.
If there's anybody who knows Nuggets,
guarantee the Nuggets are going to win tonight.
it is Charles Barkley.
Can't wear home.
This is going to be a fun Thursday night,
shirt.
ladies and gentlemen.
Come wear his own picture.
That's funny.
He put yours on.
That's funny.
San Antonio, it appeared as though Jamal Murray had forgotten how to shoot, which doesn't happen a lot to NBA players. He was just 8 of 31 until he made up for it in the fourth of Game 2, scoring 21 of his 24 in that final quarter, and the Nuggets come back to avoid an 0-2 hole. Ahead of tonight's Game 3, Murray talked about recognizing and overcoming the moment.
I think in the fourth quarter, I just took a look around. I took a look at where I was, the towels waving, the score, the time, the quarter, and I made the most of it. I just went out there and played, and I stood from the moment I made my first shot. The crowd was up on their feet, so that's where I felt it. Where everybody's looking forward to me to get going. Everybody's looking at someone to get going, and I made my first two, and at that point, everybody knew it was going to be a good quarter for me and for the team, and our defense picked up, and the fans were backing in, and unfortunately, come up with the W.
He may have changed the series. What does this mean for the rest of the games moving forward that Jamal Murray is Jamal Murray again?
Yeah, for him, as we all know, as young guys going into the playoffs for the first time, confidence is huge. So now the first couple games, actually the first 7 quarters, his confidence was low because he hadn't made a shot. But now he hits big shots. He goes on a 21-point fourth quarter. His confidence is there now. So, obviously for them moving forward, you want Jamal Murray being at his best, shooting, feeling confident, making the right plays, unafraid of the next moment, because in the playoffs you may miss 4 or 5 shots, but they still need him to take his shots. So I think moving forward, the biggest thing for Jamal Murray is he has his confidence back.
Oh, I think for me, Jamal Murray is their best one-on-one guy. And so the fact that he got off in that quarter and the fact that, he's starting to see the game and starting to slow down for him, that's dangerous for San Antonio. Denver's a huge assist team. They move the ball, they pass the ball. But once they get late in the shot clock, especially in tight games, if they can give the ball to Jamal Murray and say, hey, young fella, go get us a bucket, that's going to be tough for San Antonio to defend.
Nuggets also found their pace in Game 2, 0 fast break points in Game 1, 21 in Game 2. Does that travel to Texas?
Well, it'll be tough. Obviously, San Antonio will try to, adjust to that and do a better job of getting back in transition. And, Matt, most of them, obviously, here was a live ball turnover. But a lot of those transition baskets were off of just, rebounds, defensive rebounds, and getting out and running. So San Antonio, a team that has struggled at times this year with transition defense, that'll be a point of emphasis. But that's what kept them in the game, because most of those transition baskets happened before Jamal Murray got hot there in that fourth quarter.
Right.
So, yes, continue to push the tempo. It's going to be harder to do on the road. And 21 fast break points, which is something they're not really accustomed to doing throughout the regular season. will be difficult. But yeah, easy baskets before that defense gets set up is going to be imperative for for Denver on the road.
Spurs didn't help themselves in the fourth quarter either. They only turned it over 10 times for the game, but 4 of those were during that comeback for the Denver Nuggets. Well, the road team usually feels good about a split in the higher seeded Team City in games 1 and 2. That's just the way these things work, right? You want to get the split. It's especially true now that the series arrives in San Antonio. Denver and the Spurs have lopsided home road splits. The Nuggets are tied with Philly for the worst road record among top 4 seeds, while the Spurs were one of just 5 teams league-wide to lose fewer than 10 times at home. And in fact, Denver has lost 13 straight in San Antonio. They haven't won a game there since 2012, so they've got all that baggage in addition to what they put on the plane.
No, I think for them, they need to get out and run early. Get out, get stops, and run early. Establish the pace. Even if it's uncomfortable for you, it's going to be way more uncomfortable for San Antonio. And I think after the last game, you want to play on those emotions early, show them that you still have the confidence from last game and that you're focused and ready to go, especially early, especially to quell that San Antonio crowd.
You'll see that Game 3 right here on NBA TV, tipped just after 9 Eastern time. More coming up here in the meantime. Sixers and Nets coming up at the top of the hour on TNT. That's Joel Embiid, who figures to be public enemy number 1 tonight in Brooklyn.
Well, I like that.
Ooh, you see the word, dog? You know what I'm saying?